it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Friday night, Friday afternoon. I was like going back and forth, like, am I gonna do this live? Am I gonna do this as an upload? And I just figured I'm gonna do this as an upload because then I don't have to worry. Last night there was some issues on YouTube with glitching while I was live. It created an absolute mess, and I just decided, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'll upload. We'll do a live premiere. We can chit chat while we go through this. So if you have been following this channel, I am apparently a clout chaser, and I love to clout chase Jenelle Evans. Although I must remind you guys that most of my clout does not come from Jenelle. In fact, the Duggars could pick their nose and I would get more clout from them. Anyways, Jenelle has been embroiled in this messy mess because she has been promoting her new docuseries about her story about what happened with CPS. This comes on the heels of her former franchise Teen Mom 2 debuting their latest season. So that part of it is suspect. Not only has she been picking fights with YouTubers like me, Grace, and Leslie Bass, but she's going back to her standards with Kale Lowry and calling out Kaylin's parenting and everything normal. Jenelle likes to get into fights, and she gets bold and she gets mean and she gets feisty. And at one point in time, I tried to be nice to her because I felt bad because she was leaving David, and I thought I could lend her an ear. But it wasn't my doing. In fact, Jenelle Eason was the one that reached out to me. However, in an Instagram live with some liquid courage, I can't imagine she would have done this without the liquid courage. I think she might have been drinking something, but I can't say. Either way, she called me out with a lot of curse words and talking about what a liar I am and what a psycho I am. So I'll let you enjoy this right now.
I dropped my phone in the last session I just did not save to my phone. Sorry, dropped my phone. Had to get back on here and say, I have to call Katie Joy out for her YouTube page, because apparently if you don't call someone out for their YouTube page for being racist. So she wants the clout. Here's the clout. Her page is her YouTube page. It has a bunch of false lies about everyone, not just me. I have a lot of 90 Day Fiance people actually messaging me right now trying to take her YouTube page down. Katie Joy is one person that I don't really respond to because she's so crazy. So I'm not going to respond to it. Stop messaging me and stop begging me to be your friend too. That's pretty pathetic. I haven't messaged you back. You sent me like 5 messages. You can stop now, but here's your clout. And Katie Joy, Leslie Bass, and Grace Report do not follow anything they post. They just do it for views, do it for money. And that's all I gotta say.
Did you get that? Okay, so she says that because I called her out for calling out Grace Report. Now, some of you guys said, Katie, why did you make it about a race situation? I brought it up because she didn't threaten to turn me into the police, and she didn't threaten to call the police on me, with Grace being a black YouTuber, alleging that you're going to call the police on someone. Come on. And she didn't do that to me still. And it's proving my point. Not to mention her husband consistently is posting all kinds of stuff. And either way, I still find it slightly edgy there on that edge, okay? Now, in there, she says, Katie Joy, stop messaging me. You're like constantly messaging me because you want to talk to me. But then she went on to her Instagram and she literally posted messages that I sent to her in January. You guys, it's September 11th, which means I have not contacted her in 9 months. Therefore, proving her point that I don't want to talk to her. In fact, I uploaded a video last spring-ish after she got back together with David because I was concerned about this decision, because she told me a whole lot of stuff when I spoke to her back in November, and it wasn't me that reached out to her, it was the other way around. So I had been on my Twitter account and I shared a photo, and it was of Kaiser, and she made a comment about how I should not share any photos unless I know the date. And she said, unless you can match the pictures up with the actual days it happened, I suggest you stop posting about me. You have no idea what happened before CPS, after CPS, and what photos go to what dates? You are wrong, and I'm sick of rumors and being spread because of you. Okay. So I responded because that was super confusing because I didn't post anything. And then she started talking about Olivia, and it just sort of like flowed from there. She eventually forgave me for that misdirect indiscretion, I guess. So after we started, that sort of changed. So once we started getting to a place where we could start talking about things, eventually she realized I wasn't the enemy. I was current to like go correct something. I told her I was not against her. I don't know why I made that statement. I wasn't trying to be against her. I was just trying to do my job. And then we were getting a lot of stuff about questions about that Kaiser incident. So if you remember, she requested a temporary order of protection, and there was a lot of suggestions and questions that there was a photo circulating of Kaiser in a car and that David had taken a photo. And she said, no, there was never a picture of that incident, but it was recorded, so everything was handed to the courts, implying that she had video evidence of what she alleges that David locked her son in a car and refused to let him out and laughed at him as he would try to open him, making it scary for him. And I said, well, I'm glad that you got everything recorded. And she said, yeah, don't believe what people tell you because it's wrong. As we continued to speak a little bit more, she started opening up to me. And I'm only bringing this all up because she seems to feel like she needs to call me out. So I'm just going to drop it all here. So I said, how long have you been documenting this? And you can see I said off the record, but you know what? Sometimes off the record is going to go on the record, and I'm going on right now. And she said since 2017 or 2018, documenting all the things that he had done to her. And as I continued to have my conversation with her, and then I sent her some stuff that David was saying because there was apparently a temporary order of protection and he was not supposed to be speaking about her and making threats, and that's what he was doing. And so really it was a lot of me just sending like, hey, this is what I saw. And so she blocks him. She's like, yeah, I know he's been talking about me. I'm just ignoring him. This is what I got from him on a daily basis. Now, if you remember, he was being really verbally ABUSIVE. And I said, like, are the kids doing okay? And she said, yeah, we're doing fine. And then there was a photo she posted on Snapchat, and she told me that was an old photo. And I said, oh, they actually reported that it was a new photo. And sometimes I was just trying to clear up things because people were sending me things. And I sent her one time where she posted an Instagram story and her GPS was showing. And I said, maybe you want to take that down since you've got this TRO. And she was like, thank you for reminding me. I deleted it. And then I asked her about MTV. And I said, is there any truth to the fact that you are going to return to Teen Mom 2? And she said, I haven't spoken to anyone about returning, so I don't know why everyone keeps saying that. They ignore me. And I said, as we would start talking, I said, oh, really? But you were in New York. And then she completely didn't answer that question. And then I said, Radar just reported that sources connected to you say that you are in talks with MTV. And she said, and then all of a sudden her response was a little bit later, like 3 minutes later, not even responding to that. She said, you can report that my electric bill is about to be turned off if he doesn't fork over $800. And I said, really? And she said, I'm not in talks with anyone. Honestly, I'm focused on getting the kids in school and setting up doctors where we move to. So she came back to the MTV again saying there was no talks. And I said, wow, how are the outlets getting this so wrong? And she said, yes, I just checked our electric bill, but don't say you got it from me. So she was telling me to report things. And this was one of the things that she said on her Instagram was that, not in this live, but in another, she said that I only wanted to talk to her because I wanted information from her. But she was the one that was like telling me what to report, not the other way around. I had no intentions of doing anything. And then she would say, oh yeah, you can report this. And then this is what she said about Larry. I don't know, but I've been telling Larry that I promise I haven't been talking to anyone. And I'm trying not to piss people off. Now, I think he means not talking to David because she wanted to get back on the show and she didn't want to get in trouble. And she said, yes. And she said, he's been using my photo shoot equipment for knife pictures, my lights, and my production box. So David was doing welding and he was using all of her stuff and she was really pissed off about that. And she said he doesn't have anything. You can say he is in the thousands. You can also report that he's thousands of dollars behind on child support to Olivia, and he's about to go to jail. And if you want, you should reach out to Olivia about it. And I said, well, how many months behind? And she said it's $800 a month for Caden, and he hasn't paid for months, and like 4 or 5 months. So the last time he made due was like in May of the previous year, when she had brought him to court and he had to pay like $9,000. She wrote the check for it, and she said up that point he had not paid for several months since. She was like wanting him to. We were talking about where court records would be, and she said it was in New Hanover County in terms of the child support, because I wanted to verify it. And I actually never reported the story because I couldn't verify it, and I didn't feel comfortable putting that out there. And she says that she said she went back to what happened with MTV, because I asked her again, and she said, I didn't meet with any bosses in New York. I tried to ask my producers if I could get out of my contract, and they wouldn't let me. I don't talk to Olivia at all. She's very shady and two-faced. And she says that MTV ignores her. So she wanted to talk to MTV, but they didn't want to talk to her. Now, I was told at the time that MTV didn't want to talk to her because they were like they did not believe that the split that she made with David was for any other purpose than to try to get back on the show. And she said, they ignore me, literally. Ask Andrew. They ignore him half the time too. At the time, I had actually had Andrew and Jenelle kind of connecting, because I was talking to Andrew at the time, helping him with some of his stuff. And she was like, so we start talking about Andrew, and she says, yeah, I don't understand. I understand what he went through, whether he's a male or not. I know plenty of dudes that have been abused by girls growing up, and it shocked me, but it's definitely happening. And they did connect about what they experienced because they were both going through a split around the same time. Then she continued, people of the crew will talk to my mom, but they will not talk to me. They think I'll blast everything, so I've been keeping low. So they didn't want to talk to her about anything because they felt like if she did talk, she would blast everything, which she does. That's what she does. So it's probably better that MTV would not talk to her. And she said, and that's why I said I haven't spoken to anyone about getting back on the show, because MTV would not talk to her. They didn't want anything to do with her. So, and she said, they just ignore me. It's all, I'm just trying to work with or without them. I don't know. I want to be free. And then she claimed that she had offers from other people, although I still have yet to see those offers materialize. We talked about her former manager, Johnny, because she and him had been fighting about money. She told me to post this, which was apparently a Tinder account, and I got a lot of crap for this. I posted this on my in a video, and y'all were like, that's not real. Well, in case you're wondering, Jenelle told me to post it. I didn't. Not me, Jenelle. Jenelle told me to post it. We then talked about Jace, and she said that she was seeing Jace frequently. And we talked about whether or not Jace was happy, because one of the things that Barbara kept saying was that Jace was really indifferent. She said, Jace is happy, we are separated. And then she said she had a new agency that she was working with. She said, Jace is happier now. I think he feels a weight lifted off his shoulders in a way. Why would Jace feel a weight lifted off of his shoulders if David was such a good guy? Right? And then she explained that Jace wants all of my attention, and David would be pissed, and I wouldn't give him that type of attention that I gave to my children. Jace wants all of my attention. And then I said, yeah, that's kind of what abusers do. And she said, David would see how I was towards the kids and be like, I wished you loved me like that. And I would roll my eyes. And I said, well, he's isolating you. No friends, no family, no kids. Exactly, she says. So she knew what he was doing. And then we talked about Kaiser, and, I said, I always got the impression that David was harder on Kaiser because he looked like Nathan. And she said, yes. Now, in her rant about Grace, she got really pissed off that people were implying that this stuff was related to Ensley, but it was all about Kaiser. So suddenly she was okay that it was happening to Kaiser, but she wasn't okay that it was happening to Ensley. And now she's insinuating that nothing happened because the case was dropped. That doesn't mean nothing happened. It means that they just didn't move forward with it, okay? Asked about Nugget, and she said, he cried and said he was sorry and understood if he was going to leave me. or leave him. She said he said he wished that he had done it, but he was just so mad. Mad. He in his video said that he just put the dog down because that's what you do. He didn't say anything about being mad. Kaiser was great and they had to rebuy a bunch of their toys. Then we were talking about Kale, and she accused Kale of using her for ratings. That's like her go-to. She accuses everyone of using her for ratings. And this shows up. And she's showing things to me about what people are posting. And, you know, it's like talking about purchases and why his Etsy account got like shut down. She said he got his Etsy account shut down because he couldn't pay his account fee every month. And you should point that out. That's not because he was accusing her of shutting it down. There was just so much. Ensley's great. We're still trying to refurnish everything. I mean, this is going over weeks that we're talking. She said she was going to be fine financially. She was going to be working with brands. She was doing different products. We talked about her makeup kits, and she said she denied all of the fiber stuff. She also clarified that she sold like just under 1,000 of the kits, and she had a new company that she would be using for the makeup. She said that people were just lying about what they found because anytime someone says anything about her, they're just lying. You know, the thing about Jenelle that I find interesting is she also told me that there was like 2 or 3 incidences throughout the time that they were together that he got physical with her. And I don't understand why she is in such a hurry to say that nothing happened. She clearly told me that, and I posted the rest of the screenshots on my Instagram where she actually says that he was physical with her, that her collarbone was broken because of him, and she might need surgery, and she was really angry about that. She talked a lot about, and I'll post them here so you can see them, but she talked a lot about just what he did, and he wasn't a good person. So my thing to her is that you can go up and say CPS had no right, but then you had the TRO, you told me this. So I just want to know, were you lying to me or are you lying now? Are the 29 911 calls false? Did he do something to Nugget? Are you denying now that he was doing things to Kaiser and he was harder on Kaiser because of what he looked like? Are you denying now that Jace wasn't afraid of David and was happier that you were gone? Are you denying now that, you know, he wasn't physical? This is the thing. You can't tell people one thing, take out court orders, and then expect the public to buy what you're selling. They're going to call you out. And you never take accountability. And I don't want to be your friend. And that's all I have to say about that. I tried to help her, was trying to be sort of a support, but also just she wasn't talking to anyone, and she was being super quiet because of the court cases. So I was literally just helping her get stories out. And ultimately, she got mad at me because somebody sent her some fake screenshots that apparently I said that Cortland was a great guy, which never said, and that I liked David. I do not like David. So me reaching out to her all of those months later, or that couple months later, was because I wanted her to know that I never said those things about David. I was actually really bothered that she believed that because I hate David. So if in my eagerness to clear that up, it was really because I wanted to clear my name. I don't like David. Sorry, Jenelle. I can be a little persistent sometimes when I want something to be truthful, and what you heard about me was wrong. So note to self, never try to clarify anything with Jenelle or she'll call you a stalker. All right, so that's my receipts. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.